So the first section is through the loops. Loops in programming is a flow control mechanism that allows a code block to be executed repeatedly in the process called iteration. C++ provides for both imperative and functional constructs of looping. Imperative loops in C++ are imperative for loop, while loop, and do while loop. While the functional loops are range-based for loop and for each loop. These are called functional because it tries to adhere to the functional principle of no side effects. I will explain it when we get there. Now we begin with imperative for loop. Imperative for loop is type of looping in which the number of iteration is clearly mentioned before the start of iteration. The code syntax is as follows. For loop starts with for, of course, and with the keyword for, followed by the following inside parentheses: the initial value of the iterator, a conditional statement stating the limit of iteration, and last is the modification to be made to the iterator in each step of the iteration. All the parameters inside the parentheses are separated by semicolon. This is then followed by the code block or the loop body that is intended to be repeated, enclosed in curly braces. We will see this in an example. So in for loop, we first initiate the iterator. Okay, let me have a highlighter. This iterator we will first initiate it. In here it's I equals 0, so the normal iteration. And don't worry about this auto keyword, I will explain later when we go to part 2. Then we set the condition limit. This is I less than 10. Then we'll tell the loop to update the iterator by increasing it each step. Okay? And then we go to the loop body, which tells the program what to do while the condition is still met. In this case, we print the value of I plus 1, the current I plus 1. The output is the program prints the numbers 1 to 10. This is the output, okay? So that is how it's done. It's very simple, okay? So we go to the next one. Next we will discuss while loops. While loop is a type of looping in which the loop body will only be executed while certain condition is still satisfied. If the condition failed, the loop terminates. The code syntax is as follows. While loop starts with the keyword while followed by the condition to continue the loop inside parentheses followed by the code block or the loop body intended to be repeated, enclosed in curly braces. It can also support iteration, but the iterator must be declared before the start of the while block. Let's have an example. So, in the while loop, if there is an iterator in case I, we first initiate it. In this case, I is equals to 0. Then we will set the condition, this one, that increments I and then compare it to 10. It should be less than or equal to 10. And then we go to the loop body, which tells the program what to do while the condition is still met. In this case, to print the value of I. The output of the program prints the numbers from 1 to 10. This is the output, okay, from 1 to 10. So, same as what we did before, okay? So, that is very clear, I think. Next is the do-while loop. Do-while loop is a variation of the while loop wherein the conditional statement is at the end of the code block instead of on the front. The code syntax is as follows. We have the keyword do followed by the code block, and intended to be repeated in closing curly braces, and followed by the while condition to continue, which is inside the parentheses. Note that the while condition needs to be terminated by a semicolon. Having the loop body in front of the condition ensures that the body will execute at least once. So let's see how it's done. As in the while loop, if there's an iterator, so I will first initialize it. So in this case, we initialize it to 0. Then we go to the loop body, which tells the program what to do while the condition is still met. Then we set the condition at the end of the block, this one. In this case, increment I and compare it to 10. As in this case, we print the value of I, as the same way as we did with the while loop. The output of the program prints I from 0 to 10 on the screen. Okay? The output is different. The output is different from the while loop, okay, that we did before. Before it is 1 to 10, now it's 0 to 10, although the condition is the same. This is because in do while loop, okay, the body runs first. This let me erase. Okay, this runs first before the condition. Okay, allowing it to print I equals 0 before it is ever updated. So let's go to the next one.